The families. The families are one of the oldest and most prominent gangs in Los Santos. They are based primarily in the Chamberlain Hills, Strawberry, and Davis neighborhoods, which are modeled after South Central Los Angeles. Their territory is easily recognized by murals, graffiti tags, and members wearing green clothing, which is their primary gang color. Their hierarchy is loosely organized, with neighborhood sets operating semi-independently but united under the family's identity. These sets include the Chamberlain Gangster families, Forum Drive families, Carson Avenue families, and Davis neighborhood families. Each set has its own leaders and turf, but all maintain the same colors and symbols to show unity. The family's main allies are individual community members who share their neighborhood roots, while their sworn enemies are the Ballas, another Los Santos gang. The families in Ballas have a long history of violent rivalry, with shootings and drive-bys forming a core part of the gang conflict storyline in GTA 5. In terms of weapons, families members are usually seen with pistols, submachine guns, and shotguns, which reflect street-level gang warfare rather than heavy military equipment. Their vehicles are often customized lowriders or muscle cars painted in green, representing their colors. The gang appears in multiple story missions. For example, Franklin, one of GTA 5's main protagonists, starts the game tied to the families through his friend Lamar Davis, who is deeply involved with the group. Missions like Repossession highlight Franklin's connection to the gang and its constant conflicts with the Ballas. Rockstar drew heavy inspiration for the families from real-world gangs in Los Angeles, particularly the Crips. Their clothing, hand signs, territory, and long-standing rivalry with the Ballas mirror the real-life feud between the Crips and Bloods. The Ballas. The Ballas are the primary rivals of the families and one of the most notorious gangs in Los Santos. They are based mainly in Davis, Rancho, and parts of South Los Santos, areas marked by purple graffiti and gang members wearing purple clothing. Their territory often overlaps and clashes with the families, making them central to the game's gang warfare dynamic. The Ballas operate in several sets, including the East Side Ballas, Original Covenant Ballas, and South Rancho Ballas. Each set claims its own neighborhood but follows the same identity, colors, and gang culture. Compared to the families, the Ballas are depicted as more unified and better organized, giving them a significant edge in their rivalry. Their alliances include corrupt business contacts and occasional ties to larger organized crime groups. They are enemies not only of the families, but also of rival street gangs that attempt to challenge their dominance in South Los Santos. Ballas members typically use pistols, assault rifles, and micro SMGs, showing a heavier investment in firepower than the families. Their vehicles often include purple lowriders, sedans, and gang-tagged cars used for intimidation and drive-bys. The gang is encountered in multiple missions across GTA 5. Franklin and Lamar frequently run into the Ballas during their work, such as in the mission Hood Safari, which showcases how quickly a drug deal can turn into a violent shootout when Ballas are involved. Inspiration for the Ballas comes from the real-life Bloods of Los Angeles. The choice of purple as their identifying color is Rockstar's way of avoiding exact replication while still making the reference clear. Their behavior, territorial disputes, and constant wars with the families reflect the historic Crips-Bloods rivalry. The Vagos. The Los Santos Vagos are the largest Hispanic street gang in GTA 5. Their turf is concentrated in East Los Santos, especially in Rancho, Cypress Flats, and parts of La Mesa. Yellow graffiti, murals, and gang members wearing yellow bandanas or clothing mark their presence throughout these neighborhoods. The Vagos operate as a loosely connected but wide-reaching organization. Their hierarchy is less about central leadership and more about neighborhood cliques that answer to influential shot callers. Despite this decentralized structure, they maintain a strong identity through shared symbols, colors, and territory. Their main enemies are the families and Ballas, with whom they frequently clash over drugs and territory. They also face hostility from Trevor Phillips Enterprises later in the story, after Trevor disrupts their operations. The Vagos alliances are limited, though they sometimes connect with Mexican cartels, reflecting their drug trade ties. In combat, Vagos members often carry pistols, shotguns, and assault rifles. Compared to the families and Ballas, they appear better armed and more aggressive in defending their neighborhoods. Their vehicles are typically yellow or gold lowriders, SUVs, and dirt bikes, which they use both for transportation and intimidation. The gang appears prominently in missions such as Trevor Phillips Industries, where Trevor attacks a Vagos drug operation, sparking ongoing hostilities between them. Later, in Crystal Maze, Trevor escalates the conflict further by raiding their territory. These encounters highlight the Vagos' role as a major obstacle to Trevor's rise in the drug trade. Rockstar modeled the Vagos on real-life Hispanic gangs in Los Angeles, particularly the Sureños. Their tattoos, language, cars, and cultural references tie directly to Southern California gang culture. The Lost MC. The Lost Motorcycle Club, commonly called the Lost MC, is an outlaw biker gang with a strong presence in Los Santos and Blaine County. Their turf stretches across Sandy Shores, Grapeseed, and parts of East Vinewood. Their identity is marked by black leather jackets with the Lost MC logo, which members proudly wear as part of their biker culture. The gang has a formal hierarchy compared to street gangs. It is structured like a real-world motorcycle club, with ranks such as president, vice president, road captain, and enforcers. This structure makes them more disciplined and organized, though still prone to internal conflict. The Los Santos chapter is led by Johnny Klebitz at the start of GTA 5, a returning character from GTA 4, The Lost and Damned. Their allies are limited, though they sometimes connect with small-time criminals for drug and weapons trades. However, their enemies list is long. Trevor Phillips becomes their primary rival after killing Johnny Klebitz and taking over their meth operations in Blaine County. The Lost MC typically uses melee weapons, pistols, and sawn-off shotguns, consistent with their biker outlaw image. They travel almost exclusively on motorcycles, often customized choppers and cruisers with gang decals. They feature heavily in missions such as Mr. Phillips, where Trevor confronts Johnny, and Nervous Ron, where Trevor attacks the Lost MC's Sandy Shores operations. These missions establish the Lost MC as a major gang obstacle in Blaine County. The gang is inspired by real-world outlaw motorcycle clubs, particularly the Hells Angels and Mongols. The Triads. The Triads are a powerful Chinese crime syndicate operating in Los Santos. Their main base of operations is in Chinatown, located around Textile City, as well as scattered businesses across the city. Unlike street gangs, their identity is less about visible graffiti or clothing colors and more about control through businesses, connections, and intimidation. The Triads have a strict hierarchy modeled after real-world Chinese organized crime groups. Leadership is concentrated under Wei Cheng, who runs the Los Santos branch, while his son Tao Cheng acts as a key figure in GTA 5's storyline. Their structure includes lieutenants and enforcers who carry out orders. Their allies include international business partners and drug cartels. Their enemies include Trevor Phillips and later Michael and Franklin, as they interfere with the Triad's drug distribution networks. In combat, Triad members typically use pistols, micro SMGs, and assault rifles. Their vehicles include black sedans and SUVs, chosen for practicality and intimidation. The Triads appear in missions such as Crystal Maze, where Trevor infiltrates a meeting with Wei Cheng, and Monkey Business, where the protagonists encounter their network. Rockstar drew inspiration for the Triads from real Chinese triad organizations in Hong Kong and abroad. The Madrazo Cartel. The Madrazo Cartel is a Mexican crime organization led by Martin Madrazo, one of the most influential figures in GTA 5's underworld. Unlike street gangs, this cartel is not tied to visible neighborhoods or graffiti. Instead, its power comes from wealth, political connections, and its control over high-level drug trafficking and organized crime. Martin Madrazo himself acts as both the face and leader of the organization. His position is supported by a network of armed enforcers, hitmen, and business associates. The cartel maintains alliances with international drug suppliers and corrupt officials. Its enemies include anyone who challenges Madrazo's authority, notably Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, especially after Michael demolishes Madrazo's mistress's house during the mission marriage counseling. Madrazo's men are typically armed with assault rifles, pistols, and shotguns. They use SUVs, luxury sedans, and pickup trucks for transportation. The cartel plays a role in missions such as Caida Libre, where Michael and Trevor eliminate a federal informant for Madrazo. The Madrazo cartel is inspired by real Mexican cartels such as the Sinaloa and Gulf cartels. The Aztecas. The Aztecas are a Mexican-American street gang active mainly in Blaine County. Their headquarters is located in Sandy Shores, where they operate out of safe houses and small businesses. The gang is structured around Ortega, who acts as their visible leader in the storyline. The Aztecas' main enemies are Trevor Phillips and his enterprise, following Trevor's violent takeover of meth distribution in Blaine County. In combat, Azteca members typically use pistols, assault rifles, and shotguns. Their vehicles include pickup trucks, SUVs, and motorcycles suited for rural terrain. They appear in missions such as Trevor Phillips Industries, where Trevor attacks their drug business, and Crystal Maze, where Ortega is targeted directly. The Aztecas are inspired by real Mexican-American gangs that operate in Southern California and the U.S.-Mexico border regions. The O'Neill Brothers. The O'Neill Brothers are a violent family-based gang operating out of a ranch in Blaine County. Their main base is the O'Neill Ranch, where they run drug operations and criminal enterprises. Leadership is shared among several brothers, including Elwood, Walton, and Win O'Neill. Their enemies include Trevor Phillips, who becomes their main rival after rejecting their business deal and burning down their meth lab in the mission Crystal Maze. The O'Neills typically use shotguns, assault rifles, and hunting weapons. They rely on off-road vehicles, pickup trucks, and ATVs. Rockstar drew inspiration for the O'Neill brothers from real-life rural crime families involved in meth production. The Marabunta Grande. The Marabunta Grande are a Salvadoran street gang active in Los Santos. Their territory is concentrated in East Los Santos, particularly around Murrieta Heights and the LS River area. The gang is loosely organized into cliques under local leaders. Their enemies include the Vagos, and they also face clashes with Trevor Phillips during drug and arms operations. Marabunta members carry pistols, submachine guns, and machetes. Their vehicles are typically blue sedans and SUVs. The Marabunta Grande are inspired by the real-life MS-13, Mara Salvatrucha gang, known for extreme violence and Salvadoran roots. Trevor Phillips Enterprises. Trevor Phillips Enterprises is Trevor's personal criminal organization, based in Sandy Shores. It controls meth production, arms trafficking, and smuggling operations. Trevor is the unquestioned leader, supported by Ron Jakowski for logistics and Wade Hebert for assistance. Their enemies include the Lost MC, the Aztecas, the O'Neill brothers, the Vagos, and later the Triads. Weapons range from pistols to explosives. Vehicles vary from Trevor's pickup to aircraft and boats, depending on the operation. The organization is central to missions like Trevor Phillips Industries and Nervous Ron, establishing it as a major force despite its small size. Trevor Phillips Enterprises is less about real-world gangs and more about the archetype of chaotic, self-made empires. In the next video, we break down the most dangerous GTA missions explained in 9 minutes.